Welcome back. Prince Charles is said to be in good health despite testing positive for the coronavirus. This comes as global death toll from the disease surpasses 20,000, with the number of cases going beyond 451,000. Here's Simon PUSEY with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Hello and good evening from the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. A stimulus package worth more than $1.8 trillion has been agreed by US Senate leaders and the White House to ease the impact of coronavirus. Markets opened sharply higher on the news of the deal in Washington. It reportedly includes payments of $1,200 to most American adults and aid to help small businesses pay workers. After 802 deaths and over 55,225 confirmed infections, America is more than midway through a 15-day attempt to slow the spread of the virus through social distancing. There are particular fears for New York. Governor Andrew Cuomo warned the illness was spreading faster than a bullet train in his state. The Prince of Wales has tested positive for the coronavirus. Prince Charles is displaying mild symptoms but otherwise remains in good health, the spokesperson said, adding that the Duchess of Cornwall has been tested but does not have the virus. Charles and Camilla are now self-isolating at Balmoral. Buckingham Palace said the Queen last saw her son, the heir to the throne, on the 12th of March, but was in good health. The palace added that the Duke of Edinburgh was not present at that meeting and that the Queen was now following all the appropriate advice with regard to her welfare. Turkey has charged 20 suspects over the murder of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul in October 2018. Prosecutors said an indictment accused former Saudi Deputy Intelligence Chief Ahmad Asiri and former royal aide Saud al-Qahtani with instigating the murder. The 18 others are accused of carrying out the deliberate and monstrous killing inside the Saudi consulate. Western intelligence agencies believe it was ordered by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, something he denies. At the time of his death, the 59-year-old worked for the Washington Post and had become a prominent critic of the Saudi government. Boko Haram militants have killed nearly 100 Chadian soldiers and wounded dozens more in what President Idris Deby described as the deadliest attack ever on the country's military. The soldiers were ambushed on Monday in the island village of Bomo in the swampy Lake Chad zone in the west of the country. Deby, who has ruled Chad since 1990 and survived several rebellions and coup attempts, wore a protective mask and walked with troops among the charred remains of burnt-out vehicles. Meanwhile, gunmen and suicide bombers raided a Sikh religious complex in the Afghan capital of Kabul on Wednesday, killing at least 25 people before security forces killed all of the attackers. The Islamic State militant group claimed responsibility for the attack. Sikhs have been the target of attacks by Islamist militants before in South Asia. Their community in Afghanistan numbers fewer than 300 families. The Spanish Coast Guard has rescued 37 migrants in the Atlantic Ocean on Wednesday, 8 miles from the port of the Spanish island of Gran Canaria. Wearing masks and gloves, members of the Red Cross checked the body temperatures of migrants before they were allowed to disembark amid the coronavirus concerns. Overall, sea arrivals of migrants since March the 15th has decreased by 20% compared with the same time last year. In Russia, Valentina Tereshkova was hailed a hero when she became the first woman in space in 1963. Now, though, aged 83, she's become a hate figure for some Russians after this week putting forward a constitutional amendment that could allow President Vladimir Putin to stay in power until 2036. At least 2 online petitions have been launched against her, one calling for a street named after her to be renamed, and another asking for one of her honorific titles to be revoked. Her amendment, since backed by both houses of parliament, allows Putin to ignore the current constitutional limits and run for president again in 2024, potentially opening the way for him to serve for 2 more 6-year terms consecutively. And finally, the Pope has led the world's Christians in the Lord's Prayer to ask God to stop the coronavirus pandemic. In an introduction to the Our Father, he said it was for the sick and their families, health workers and those who assist them. When he announced the prayer initiative on Sunday, Francis invited all other Christian leaders and individual faithful to pray simultaneously at noon Italian time. The 83-year-old Francis prayed from inside the Vatican, where he has been holed up for the past few weeks. He has been holding his general audiences and Sunday blessings over the internet and television from the official papal library, instead of crowds of tens of thousands of people in St. Peter's Square.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon. Time for sports is now. Here's Jeffrey Uzono.
Thanks, Amaraj, and welcome to Sports News. Roger Federer joined the list of sports stars helping out during the coronavirus pandemic after the Swiss superstar and his wife donated $1.02 million to vulnerable families in his country. The Barcelona forward, Messi, and Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola had each donated $1.08 million to help clinics and medical centers fight the outbreak. Portugal and Juventus forward Cristiano Ronaldo and his agent Jorge Mendes also came together to donate life-saving equipment to Portuguese hospitals. The 20-times Grand Slam winner is recovering from knee surgery he underwent last month and was targeting a return in June. And Premier League stars, including Arsenal Hector Bellerin and Manchester United Aaron Wan-Bissaka, have launched Football United, a new initiative with the aim of raising £100,000 to help local communities through the coronavirus pandemic. Bellerin and Wan-Bissaka are joined by Chelsea Reece James, Crystal Palace winger Andros Townsend, and England striker Callum Wilson in pledging their support. Proceeds donated to Football United will be collected by the National Emergencies Trust and used to support elderly and vulnerable people affected by COVID-19. And Turkish club Fenerbahce has confirmed that one of its players and a member of its medical staff had been sent to the hospital for coronavirus tests after showing symptoms during a team testing. Fenerbahce said its entire team had been tested for the virus. Fenerbahce's statement comes after 2 days. Fatih Terim, the coach of their rivals Galatasaray, said he had tested positive for the virus and was being treated in the hospital. And that's it on sports at this time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jeffrey Uzono.
And the main news again, the confirmed cases of coronavirus in Nigeria today climbed to 46 since the NCDC confirmed one new case in Lagos, bringing its total to 30, and another in Osun State being its first confirmed case. That's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.